Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon again, and good evening. We've had lots of people join us in the last couple of minutes. We're going to get started on the top of the hour as promised. My name is John McInnes. I'm the president and CEO of Print Audit, and I'm very excited to be able to introduce today a new product that we've been working on forever. We filled this webinar to capacity within a few hours, which I believe shows how much we need an updated user management product. Today, we're joined by folks in many different countries around the world and many time zones. This is why all of the mics are muted. We don't want to hear snoring from those falling asleep in the middle of the night. If you want to ask a question or have a problem, please type it into the question window. Questions will be answered after the short presentation. I'm joined today by Angela, our webinar administrator, who will be managing your questions and helping with your issues. I'm also joined today by Rachel, who will be helping answer all the technical questions at the end. All right, let's move on. Our mission at Print Audit is to save the office equipment industry. We've been working on this in a bunch of different ways. We've come up with a very disruptive new business model for our products, which we call Print Audit Premier, and I'll show you quickly at the end here what we've done with another business model called Prime. Last year, I'm excited that we were able to bring to literally hundreds and hundreds of dealers around the world the idea and the business model around seat-based billing, and that's been extraordinarily popular. And our goal is to either acquire or build products that make you money and save you money, and those are the two biggest things that we're trying to do to help save this industry and build more revenue. The Infinite brand, which you can see on the screen, is our new brand for all of our products, our new branding for all of our products, and I'm excited to show how this reflects the potential for you, the infinite potential for you. So quickly, before we get into Infinite User Management, I'll tell you a little bit about other parts of the Print Audit Infinite brand. Print Audit Infinite Device Management was our first rename. It used to be Facilities Manager. We rebranded this last year. Our premium members around the world have infinite access to this tool and are obviously using it. As you can see on the screen here, we've had a ton of growth in the last couple of years, and it continues to grow somewhere around 20,000 devices a month. And what's really cool, I'll just pull this over onto the screen quickly. This is a heat map that shows in the last hour how many devices have reported into IDM. Let's turn that off, and you can see that it keeps popping. This is the last hour of devices popping all over the world, and we really think this is neat because it shows just how much this is growing and how much data comes into our system from around the world. But that's enough of that. We'll put that one out. The next tool that we brought to the Infinite brand is called Print Audit Insight. Print Audit Insight has been extraordinarily successful for our office equipment dealers. It's only included in Premier membership. It has the sizzle and the difference to sell deals, and it does. And I'll show you a couple of the dashboards that pop up on our Insight dashboard. Now you can see from these different pieces that are coming out, the different dashboards, and I'm excited about these. We're combining actual user data and device data into one business intelligence tool. Again, this is available for Premier members around the world, and a lot of them have been using it to sell deals, and a lot of deals. But today, we're here to say goodbye to a very successful old friend. Print Audit 6 and Print Audit Secure were built about 6 years ago. Secure maybe a little bit earlier, about 3 or 4 years ago. And they have gone out to, as you can see, millions of desktops, and we have secured or watched billions of print jobs. This product has helped customers to reduce costs, dealers to sell more, to sell more hardware, a lot more hardware, and it's really been popular and caught the hearts and minds of our office equipment dealers, customers, and really their salespeople to get more equipment out in field and to make them relevant in today's marketplace. And now it's time to say goodbye to it. That's enough of that. Print Audit 6 and Secure are dead to me now. The new star is Print Audit Infinite User Management, and it's very cool. We're very excited about this. We've been working on it for 3 straight years, maybe even a little bit more. The testing and the time that the team has spent to put this together has been incredible, and it's one of the products that we are. It's a product that we're the most proud of right now. It is leading edge. We've asked hundreds of questions to hundreds and hundreds of dealers and end user customers about what they want to see in a user management product, and this is what we've got. So I'm going to show you what we've done. This is a high level overview, so I'm going to show you what we've done, and then after we can take some questions. So the first thing we did was we improved the design. This is the first dashboard that you'll see when you open up the product. The pie charts are actually, and I don't have it up here obviously, but we can show it later. All of these pie charts, they're context sensitive, so when you highlight over them, it tells you what you're looking at. You've got web-based design instead of our old Visual Basic-based design. This is run off of web servers. It's easy to see, easy to access, and easy to use. A couple of really high-level points that I think everybody will be interested in is we've gotten rid of database communicators. So those that are doing installs of hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of workstations used to hate the database communicators. Well, those are gone. It's a completely web-based architecture, as I said before. We're using web services to communicate, so all of the newest and greatest ways to communicate in and out of the data and also the management of the system. One of the things that we've been asked for time and again is because we see all of the printers on the network, whether they're local, directly connected via USB, or network connected, is for matching those printers when they show up in different ways. So we've really improved our printer matching to the point where the accuracy is almost perfect. We've added in SSL email server support, so those guys that are technical that are on the line who weren't be able to get their emailed reports out of Print Audit 6, you can now get it. And an important thing to our dealers and our premier members around the world was the ability to change the branding to be able to use their branding like we do with Infinite Device Management. And so the entire product is brandable, so it'll look like it's coming from you and it's one of your products. The next thing that we've done is we've really spent time on the installation. When we asked our customers and all of our surveys for everybody around the world, one of the big things is that Print Audit 6 was, when it first came out, it was good, but over time it's gotten to be a pain to install. It's too long, too complicated, and we heard that time and again from people. So we've actually removed 80+% of the Print Audit 6 and Secure installation steps. There's now just a single client for print tracking and secure print, which is, it used to be 2 clients for everything, including our embedded. All of the required components are installed directly for you, so you don't have to install IIS, you don't have to install SQL, you don't have to install any of those pieces. It's all installed for you from top to bottom. And we've updated a tool that's been very popular in the past called our Client Deployment and Status tool to actually do all the hard lifting of deploying the client to all of the workstations on your customers' networks, and to show the status of each of those clients. And so this is, I would say, the #1 thing that people have asked for is, can we make installation quicker and simpler? And we absolutely have. The next thing we did was, as I mentioned before, we brought the Secure into Print Audit Infinite User Management, and so it's all one client. So we also spent a lot of time, because secure printing, as you hear in the marketplace and in the news, securing documents, securing everything on the network is really important. And so we went back to the drawing board and we decided, let's reimagine what secure printing looks like. Let's reimagine how this whole workflow should work. So one of the key things, and one of the things that we got asked for quite a bit, is to be able to secure any network printer with or without a screen. And we can do that with card release. And now, so this is pretty new for us, and we think the industry, the ability for any printer on the network or somewhat off of the network to be secured. We can do card reader tap and release now, and so you just walk up and release, which is another part of that securing a printer on the network. We've got release codes for shared print release. We've got document reprints, so you can go into your secure overview, your secure portal, and you can actually reprint documents, and it'll be tracked within the user management piece. We've got support for anonymous users if that's needed. We've got status monitoring of release print jobs, so we can tell people and tell administrators what's been released, what hasn't. We've added global follow me release. So one of the things with the old secure was if you wanted to print something from an office in the US and pick it up in China, it was very difficult to do before. Now we've done that. We've fixed this up so you can do it anywhere. We've got a lot more secure queue options, which is a bit more technical, but you'll be able to see that when you try it out. And there's also an optional secure hold. So we've really thought about secure printing, and we think that you're going to be excited about this. And as I said before, it's very easy to install. The other thing that we've added in is a ton of business intelligence reporting. And so when we talk to our customers, reporting is one of the things that they're really interested in. And going to a dashboard, our dashboards are now beautiful, but also there is a fair amount of information that can be sent directly to you when you need it. So there's customizable business intelligence dashboard. There's reporting on who is using and abusing the rules, which is new to this one. So you can see when you've got rules-based printing, what's going on with the rules. There's improved delivery options, including alerts. And we've improved all of our job export options to use a whole bunch of common protocols to get the data to you in the way, shape, or form that you need it. The next thing we've done is we've highly simplified system and user management. For those that are deploying across literally thousands of clients or even a few clients in a smaller network, one of the things that we heard and responded to is there's so many new tools, and there's so many easier ways to manage large deployment clients for lots of different software products. And so we've gone out to the marketplace and we've looked really closely at how that works and how we can manage such a massively deployed system. So the client now updates automatically if your customer wants it or if you want it. So that is a big thing. The client can be updated automatically, similar to what we do with IUM with our ICE, Infinite Device Management with our ICE. We've got, and this gets a little technical, but we've got hierarchical groups for reporting and rules, which is new. We've got Active Directory, OU, and/or security group integration directly in the product. There's a built-in task scheduler, so for alerts, reports, and any sort of task that needs to happen within the system. And we've got web-reported performance metrics for client and secure services. And so everything is now reported through websites. And the cool thing about this is you can take the data and you can import it into different business intelligence tools, or use our own use the business intelligence tool that's in here. And so, and I see that we've had a ton more people hop on and that some questions are popping up. Just as I go through, I'll add one more time that any questions that you have, please send them through on the question box on GoToWebinar, and we'll read them out at the end, and then I've got somebody to help me with the technical stuff, because that will be way above my head and my pay grade. So now I'm going to get to the next piece. When we went out to our Premier members and we had a lot of marketing, and we did roundtables and asked the users and asked their customers and kept on going down. We wanted to see what would be a great product to have in here, or a great thing to support. And this is our one more thing as Steve Jobs would call it. We're in hundreds of schools and colleges around the world, and a lot of them are using Google Cloud Print. So we now support tracking of Google Cloud Print within the system. And there's going to be, the cool thing about this system and the cool thing about Infinite is that there won't be new product releases past this. So there's not going to be, we were on Print Audit 6, this would be Infinite. There's not going to be an Infinite 2 and an Infinite 3 and those sorts of things. We are going to continue to add functionality to the software, and it's just going to show up for the customers, for you and your customers around the world. And so Google Cloud Print is the first. We're looking at Apple AirPrint and different methodologies for that. But the cool thing is, like I said, it's just going to show up. And so we'll continue to add features and functionality to your customers. And of course, all of our software is software as a service. So as long as they're paying you to have this software, they're going to keep getting those upgrades. And so it's going to become more and more valuable over time. And so all of IUM is available today to our amazing Premier members. Obviously, we'll give you a link to download and try it after. We'll be launching the software actually today, so probably I think it'll be live on the site at about 3 p.m. Eastern, but we'll give you the download link in a couple of seconds. So I like my presentations to be short. I always have. I think that your questions are more important than whatever I throw at you. So now it's time for questions. And as you can see, the dumbest has been asked. I found this on the internet. The dumbest question has been asked. So don't hold back. You can never beat this question. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, please write them into the question window. Angie is going to read them for us to Rachel and I, and then we will get back to you with the answers as best we can. So I think this is a good time to start at 17 after the hour. Let's go, Angie.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to those. We have a few questions. The first one is, does the improvement in security include the ability to encrypt print jobs?
That sounds like one for you, Rach.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So with the ability to encrypt print jobs, anytime that you are sending through secure print job, it will encrypt that job and it will store it on the server until you're ready to release it.
Perfect. Thanks, Rach. Next question is there an upgrade path to existing installations?
For existing Print Audit 6 installations, yes, we have taken that into consideration as well. We have a tool, it's called the Database Migration Tool, and what that will do is just move the data out of the Print Audit 6 database and move it into an IUM database so that after Infinite User Management is up and running, we'll be back to exactly where you were with Print Audit 6.
Great. Another question is, can you speak more to the deployment tool and how it operates?
The deployment tool now, we have updated it to more modern standards. So now the deployment tool will use WMI to deploy across the network. So when we're looking at that tool, you just need to make sure that in that customer's environment, that WMI is allowed through the network.
Okay, the next two questions fall in the embedded line. What is the timeline for embedded support, especially Konica Minolta, Ricoh, Samsung?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. Well, there's a couple of pieces with this, with the manufacturers, especially including Konica Minolta and Ricoh. Samsung, I don't have a timeline on, but we've the Konica Minolta and Ricoh, we're ready to submit to them for approval, and so they should be fairly quick. But let me just jump back a little bit with the embeddeds and talk about them. For us, we've spent a whole bunch of time analyzing embedded use, what people are using and how they're using it, and we have tried to bake into this part of the program as much of the embedded as we possibly can. And so secure release doesn't require embedded, though it might be a better experience with embedded, but it doesn't require it. The only thing our new embeddeds will do will track paper on glass, and so that is tracking the user and some information on paper and glass. But we're really trying to support as much of the functionality outside of embedded. And the reason is that it takes an enormous amount of time to create embedded for each of the manufacturers, because they're essentially different operating systems for each, and they've got very different ways that they work. And you've probably seen it before. They're tough to use. The second one is that we see the manufacturers moving towards a more common platform, which we're hoping for. So we develop towards that. Like say for Ricoh, we've developed their Android. So that's important. But when we look at the actual use of this thing, tracking print on or paper on glass is one of the least used features of the product base right across the board. So answering your question, embedded will come out over the next, embedded for each of the manufacturers will come out over the next few months once we get approval from them. And that does take some time, but they are coming. But we do know that today, and we've had a lot of people who have tested this out and are using it, you're going to find that you can take this to your customers today without embedded, and it works most of the time. And all of the issues that you've had with embedded before and will have in the future, we're trying to eliminate that, but we're also trying to eliminate the use of embedded as much as possible. So I'd say go out to the world and see how important it is.
Thanks, John. We just had a question come in regards to embedded. They asked, will the embedded component support tracking of scans or faxes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, John. The next question is, does your new and improved client installation tool work with Mac environments?
Rach?
So for first release, we will not have the Mac support. Moving forward, at this point, I'm not too sure how the client status deployment tool is going to work on the Mac side. So that's something that once that is available, I would say reach back and ask that question again.
Thank you, Rach. Will PA6 still be supported?
Yes, we will support PA6. We don't have an actual sunset time for PA6, but it will be supported out there for the foreseeable future in situations where, in very few situations where it needs to be added on for seats and things like that. It's still available, but contact your sales support person to see how we'll work with that. But of course, it'll be supported for a long time in the future.
Thank you, John. What is the timeline for an average deployment, conservatively speaking, now that 80% of the process has been shortened?
When we look at installing Print Audit 6 and Secure together, normally we would look at that being at about a 4-hour process from beginning to end, including configuration and deployment. With IUM at this point, we're looking at about, I'd say, half an hour to an hour for a full install, configuration, and deployment.
Great, thank you. Is there support for monitoring of AirPrint?
Apple AirPrint, not yet, but it's coming.
Okay, thank you. We have a few similar questions here, so just bear with me while I go through there. Will there be a built-in scan home folder option in the embedded?
I have to get back to you on that one. I'm not 100% sure, and I've got Rachel beside me. She just put her arms up. We will be tracking it. We'll obviously be tracking scans. We want to use as much of the native technology on the devices as we possibly can. So if it will scan to a home folder from the device, then we will track that. And of course, we've got our own document management program, PlacePoint, and so we'll be working closer with SharePoint to put information in there. But our goal is to work within the system as much as possible, including with authentication, all of those sorts of things. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but if your device scans to a home folder, then we'll track it.
Thanks, John. Does the WMI install use system as a user, or do we need local admin user credentials?
On the server side, you would need the admin credentials on that. And then on the workstation side, I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, maybe we can get that question answered while we're talking, while we're answering other questions. Somebody will grab the answer for you.
Sure,
Good
certainly.
one. You even stumped the technical. Nice job.
Next question is, will the embedded terminal be able to enforce user authentication criteria, such as defined email from address, being pre-populated with logged in user? Okay,
Sorry, we're going to repeat the question on that one.
Okay, will the embedded terminal be able to enforce user authentication criteria, such as defined email from address, being pre-populated with logged in user?
At this time, I'm not too sure how that's going to work. I do have that in as a feature request to our development team, but I'm just not too sure yet. But when we go back to the WMI question, I did get an answer on that. And yes, you do need local admin rights to use that tool.
Okay, thank you, Rach. Will there be a remote class for training to install Infinite User Management?
We do have some sessions set up in St. Louis. They will be the first week of March. At this time, they are for Premier members only. So if that is something that you're interested in and you haven't signed up yet, feel free to reach out to Paul Georgie, and he can send you the link to sign up for that training.
He's also asking about, are we going to do remote training? Or, sorry, online training? And the answer is yes, we will be.
Another question came in asking if there's going to be training in St. Louis.
I think he just wants more details about it. It says training in St. Louis. So yes, ask Paul Georgie. I can see that's from Mark. So yeah, ask Paul. Paul Georgie. It'll probably be while you're up here skiing, Mark.
Great, thanks, John. Another question is, I recently read a blog on seat-based billing. Does this new platform support this?
Yep. So seat-based billing is one of the things that we've been promoting to office equipment dealers all over the world. We think this is a great way for you to increase your margins and decrease your costs, and also get more customers. And so one of the big tenets of this is to be able to support seat-based billing across the board. And so if you're doing seat-based billing, this will be the #1 way to track the seats.
Perfect, thanks. Another question just came in. I currently use the Insight dashboard for all my customer presentations, but I'm using Print Audit 6 data. Will I still be able to use Insight with the new product?
Yeah, this actually should work a little bit better with, or it does work a little bit better with Insight. We'll be able to take the data directly in, and right now we're taking the files and uploading them for you. But with Infinite User Management, it is going to be an automated process, and that'll be part of the training that we give in St. Louis.
Great, thank you, John. That looks like all the questions that we have for now.
Excellent. I'm sure that you guys out there are going to have lots more questions. We've got close to 100 attendees on the call, and so whatever questions you have, feel free to reach out to support or reach out to your inside sales rep or your customer success manager, whatever it may be. We're really excited about Infinite User Management, as I said, and we're about to go off and have a bunch of parties ourselves on the release of this. But so please give it a try. It'll be available at 3 p.m. Eastern today, and the link is there. But let me just go on to one other piece here, and I just want to put a quick plug in for our new document management. It's our all-you-can-eat program called Prime. Infinite PlacePoint is it's very similar to Premier in the way that it allows dealers to sell as much Infinite PlacePoint document management as they possibly can for one monthly price. The ROI so far has been amazing. We've got more dealers than we thought signing up very quickly. So we'd love you to take a look at our document management Infinite piece as well. And it's a different business model than you've ever seen before. So I'm going to leave it there. We've done this in half an hour, which is great. I love getting things done half an hour early, so I'm hoping I was able to give you 30 minutes time back for your day. To try Infinite User Management at 3 o'clock, go to that website, or you can just go to the printaudit.com website, and I'm sure it'll direct you directly from there. Thank you very, very much for your time today. We're excited about this, and we hope that it works out as well for you as it has for us so far. Take care.